yung sumasama sa synchronous sessions. In any case, okay lang. Okay, let's start with this problem, no? And let me just, okay. So this is a problem from 2017. Tapos we have, this is for true length, point view, edge view, and true size. And we have a problem wherein meron tayong mga sets of instructions, no? We have numerous instructions. Tapos, eventually we will end up with a lot of lines and planes. Tapos, ang final natin na ipapadescribe is ito, no? Which is yung relationship between line 1, 2, and line 3, 4. Okay, and let me first convert muna RGB color. Okay. So, before I begin, no, create muna ako nung compass ko. Let me create my compass. Okay. So, for this particular na ano, no, session, hindi ko na masyadong i-describe yung ano, no, yung parang concepts behind uh, yung mga different techniques na ituturo today, pero more of ano na lang, no, mechanical approach on how to do those techniques once you figured it out. Okay? So, let me use different color. Ito yung compass ko. And I'll probably do one more, no? Okay, I have my compass. Now we can begin. Okay, so we can go step by step with the instructions. No? So pwedeng gawin natin is identify muna natin line by line. So we go dito muna tayo. Line 1, 2 is in true length. By the way, narinig naman ako, no? Makasalita ako ng salita.
Rinig po, sir.
Okay, thank you for the feedback. Okay. Konti na nga lang yung ano, no? So, by the way, yung mga plates nyo na-return na ba ni Jesh? Or at na-check na ba niya?
Plate 1, number 1 pa lang po, sir.
Okay. Pero paano niya ni-return? Through Google Classroom lang?
Di po, Uble. Sa Uble po.
Oble. Okay. Sige. Nagpasa. Okay lang kasi I think just checks both Oble and Google Classroom, no? Pero i-remind ko na lang siya na i-check yung mga submissions through Google Classrooms. Okay. So, let's begin with sabi dito line 1, 2 is true length in RP3 or that's ARP3. So, let's find 1, 2. Okay? First is we have 1, tapos meron tayong point 1 dito sa ARP1, tapos may point by the way, nakikita naman, no? May point 1 tayo dito sa ARP1, tapos may point 2 sa ARP3. Tapos ang sabi daw, naka true length daw si 1, 2 in RP3. Okay, so whenever we have a true length, konti lang, ibig sabihin nun is, yung view before sa kanya is either parallel sila or naka point view siya. Tama? So dito, ang gagawin natin, and saglit lang class Okay, kaya pala nalito ako. May correction dito sa problem na 'to. Ah, okey. Ang correction is dapat, line 1, 2 is true length in isisingit ko na lang 'no. Line 1, 2 is true length in RP1 and RP3. Okay, so both, RP1 and RP3 siya, ah, true length. Okay, so ibig sabihin kung true length siya dito sa, reference plane 1 na 'to at true length siya sa reference plane 2 na 'to, the only way that this is possible is if point view dapat siya dito sa view na 'to. Okay, so how do we find true length, yung point view? To find the point view, it's fairly simple, no? What we just do is, oh, kailangan lang, mag-project tayo ng perpendicular lines. Tapos yung mga projection lines na yon i-meet natin, dito sa, ARP2, no? So, why does that work? Because, if you remember from the lesson, no, the only way na makakapag, true length ka sa isang, line is either, naka-parallel siya doon sa reference plane or naka-point view siya doon sa reference plane. Okay? Pero in this case, um, yung ARP1 and ARP2 are not, or kumbaga are hindi posible na magiging parallel yung line natin dito. So we cannot create kunwari, if I were to create kunwari line dito, no? Hindi pwede na simultaneous na etong line na 'to is parallel to this reference plane and parallel din to this reference plane. It's just impossible, no? Kasi non-parallel 'tong dalawang reference plane na 'to. So yung only case na posible siya is dapat point view yung nandito. Okay, para 'pag point view siya dito, pwede ako mag-project diyan, point view dito, pwede ako mag-project diyan. Okay? So, what we'll do is since point view siya dito, then if I project, my point 1, okay? Project natin si point 1, okay? Let's do a projection line and gagamitin ko lang 'to, no? Ah, by this point class, no, pagka gumagawa kayo ng projection line, yung perpendicular line, hindi na kailangan geometric construction yung gagamitin yung technique. Pwede na yung, sliding na triangles technique, no? Which is, familiar na kayo kung paano gawin, no? So we have a question here from Mark. Mark asks, kapag nakuha po yung point view ng two lines through two different RPs, pwede po bang i-draw magkasama yung true length nila sa isang RP? I'm not quite sure what you mean here, Mark, no? What do you mean by i-draw magkasama yung true length nila sa iisang RP? They are the same line, no? Can you clarify, Mark? Or meron ka bang ano, mic?
Sir, halimbawa po,
Mm,
two different lines. Tapos, para po makuha yung true length nilang dalawa,
mm,
gumamit po ako ng dalawang magkaiba na ARP.
mm,
Tapos saka ko po kinuha yung point view nila.
mm.
Ngayon, using po yung point view, yung dalawang point view po na yun, pwede po kayang mag-drawing ako ng iisang reference plane. Yung pagsasamahin ko po sila yung sa iisang reference plane na
Mm,
adjacent po doon. Tapos
mm,
ipo-project ko po yung true length doon sa reference plane na yun.
Puwede naman 'yun. Para tama ba ang gusto mong mangyari is ma-expose yung both lines in their true lengths in one view?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oo, definitely puwede 'yun.
Okay. Thank you po.
And in fact, some problems require that you do that, 'no. So, isa 'yun sa mga manipulations na puwede niyong magawa, okay. So, let's proceed dito, 'no. So, ang gagawin lang natin dito is projectiles. We know that, line 1 is along this line, and in And because point view siya dito, then line 2 is along this projection line as well. Okay? Tapos if we project the other side, again, you can use your sliding triangles dito class no sa at this point of the course. Okay? So pag pinoject natin siya ng ganyan, ito dapat yung location ni point 1 and point 2. Ito din yung location ni point 1 and point 2. So this is now uh, if I do this, ito is the point view and final answer na to, no? I can do uh, something like 0.12 na naka-point view siya. Mm. Tapos sabi dito, but if I want to be accurate, no, I can actually label this as 0.21, no? Kasi I know that point 2 is closer than point 1. Tama? Tapos I can complete this by itong line 1, 2 na to by copying the distances. No? So if I take, kasi di ba when we project points, we take measurements 2 views away from it. So for example, if I'm trying to measure sa ARP1, then my reference for the distances will be 2 views away from ARP1. So that's ARP1. So that's 1 view. No, sorry. Ito yung 0 view. So 1 view away, 2 view away. So if I copy this distance, then I am able to determine yung location ni point 2 dito sa ano, no. So si point 2. Tapos if I want to know point 1, then copy ko lang din to, no. Okay. And similarly, dahil point, this is ARP3, ang 2 views away from it is ARP1. Okay, so I can extend ko lang tong projection line na to, no. Let me extend this projection line. Tapos where it meets, ito yung location ni point 1. So if I were to do the final answer, magiging ganito siya, no. I'll use white para ano. This is line 1, 2 shown in ARP1. Tapos ito naman si line 1, 2 shown in ARP3. Okay? So yung first part, it's fairly simple, no? Again, ito class, yung naming convention na to is we always name points or we name point views. Yung unang number na mag-appear is always the point that is closer to it, or the number or letter. We choose the number or letter that is closest to the reference plane. So for example, ito, dahil mas malapit si uh, mas malapit si point 2 dito sa reference plane na to in both views, no? Then dapat this is be more appropriately called 2, 1 rather than 1, 2. Okay? So for example, if meron din akong point view kunwari dyan, tapos yung point view is kunwari C to, plus A, then ito is this should be CA rather than AC. Okay? Pero sometimes hindi na masyadong pinapansin nyo, no? So kunwari yung nilagay nyo 1, 2, it wouldn't be the end of the world, no? Kung 1, 2 yung nilagay nyo, tapos kahit mas malapit dapat si 2, then minsan hindi na binabawasan ng points ng checker yun, no? Pero just to be more accurate, no, parang sanayin nyo na yung sarili nyo na gagawin nyo. Okay? So we have located point 1, 2. Tapos ang next natin is ito naman. Next instruction is line 3, 4 is 4 centimeters long, and uh, its point view in our it is in point view sa ARP3 daw. So the first thing we'll probably have to do is do projection lines first, no? So we have point 3 muna. Project natin to si point 3. So point 3 dito. Tapos wala tayong ibang information, no? May iba pa ba? Point 4. Kaya but we know that point S. Tapos yung next instruction is point S is on line 3, 4. Okay? So if point S is on line 3, 4, then this should be in between point 3 and point 4, no? So if we were to create a projection line, tapos gagawa tayo ng projection line na ganito, ganyan. Then this is the location of our uh, the line 3, 4, no? And this also works para ma-determine natin si point 4. But first, let's copy muna natin yung distance ni point 3 because we already know where point 3 is. Ito si point 3. Therefore, pwede natin siya i-copy on this side. No? So I should get point 3 should be somewhere here. Tapos, yan si point 3. Ang next ko is um, dito this is the location of my point 3, no? Ang kailangan ko na lang is nasaan si point 4. We know that point 4 should be somewhere along this line. Tapos ito, sabi daw, naka-point view si line 3, 4. And I already know mas malapit si 4 dito, no? So 4, 3 siya. Kasi 3, malamang si 4 nandito siya. Okay, kasi in between line 3, 4 si point S. So nandito somewhere si point 4. So this is point view of 4, 3. And since naka-point view siya dito, this means that if it's in point view, dapat ito true length, no? So again, anytime na meron tayong point view, any view before and after it will always be a true length that is perpendicular to the reference plane na kinrate nyo. Okay? So, dito si 3, 4, and since ano to, no? This is, this is true length, then all distances that are measured, that you measure here are the actual measurements, no? So we can actually just copy 4 centimeters and wala akong basis for 4 centimeters, no? But I think since nakaano to, let me just use my ruler, no? Mm, ulit yung ruler tool ko. 4. Ay, naka-pixels pala to. Let me adjust my class now. Edit preference. Ano yung ulit yung problem? 4 centimeters. So, i-centimeters ko lang muna yung So 4 centimeters based sa ruler, no? It's close to this distance. No? This is 4 uh, millimeters daw. And I'll just gawa lang ako ng ruler dito sa taas, no? Tapos measure tayo. This is 4. Ito. So right here yung 4. This is 4. So itandaan natin 'to, no. So that's 4 millimeters. But obviously, in your case, ang kailangan nyo lang gawin is take your ruler tapos measure nyo. Hindi nyo kailangan i-copy yung distance test na to. Kasi you should be able to measure 4 centimeters from your ruler, no? So yan. So I'm able to do this because naka-scale naman ng maayos tong page na to since I took it from the PDF file and naka A4 naman siya. So naka-save kumbaga yung measurement sa kanya. So in Photoshop, I can equally or any measurements that I do is the actual measurement in real space, no. So eto, this is the 4 millimeters, more 4 centimeters, I mean. So I can find 3, 4. Kasama ba kasama pa sa a question from Mark ulit, no? Kasama ba sa ida-darken yung line yung nagde-divide ng mga RP? Oh, so you mean the reference, yung parang folding line, no, for the reference planes? Yes, kasama siya, no? Considered sila as final answers. So, dapat isama nyo sila. Okay. You're welcome, Mark. Okay, so, nasa na tayo? Dito, this is 0.34. And pwede na nating i-project si line 3, 4 onto the other side, no? So, if I do, kung ganito ang gawin natin, ganyan, pwede nating ma-create si 0.34 and we know that ano dapat, no? Parallel dapat siya kasi again, yung only way na magtutrulan siya dito if hindi point view yung previous view is if nakaparallel yung line na to dito. Therefore, ito dapat si 0.4. Or pwede rin, another way you can do it is measure the distance, no? So if I take my compass, measure this distance kasi ito yung 2 views away from my ARP1. Then ito yung distance na ng 0.4. And since naka-point view siya, the distance of 0.3 is also the distance of 0.4. Therefore, it makes sense na parallel sila. Parallel siya dito sa reference plane na to. Okay? So that's, I can mark this as my final answer na rin. So I can do ito, this point to this point. This is at line 3, 4. This one. This is my line 3, 4. Tapos ito, naka-point view siya, no? This is point view 4, 3. And again, shown in its point view. Okay? Okay. Okay na tayo hanggang this, at this point. Okay pa tayo, no? Okay, so proceed tayo sa next instruction. Sabi daw, lines BE. Lines BE and CF intersect at point 0. So, meron ba tayong line B? May line B tayo. And, sige, stop muna tayo dun sa instruction na to, no? Lines BE and CF intersect at point 0. So, what does it mean when a line intersects a point, when a line intersects another line at a particular point? Ang isang implication nun is that yung intersection point nila, and in this case, point 0, is also part of the, is part of both lines, no? So, point O is part of, is in between line BE and point O is also in between line CF. Okay, so if I draw a line connecting etong si B and O, if I extend that, that is the location of, nandito yung location ni point E. Similarly, if I draw, kunwari i-line up ko to, no? If I draw something like that, then ito yung location ni line. Ito, location of F to, somewhere along this line. So right now, that's all the information I have. So I think we can proceed with the next instructions muna, no? Kasi right now dito, wala na ako makukuha information. Lalo na kasi hindi given ko nasaan si point E in any view. hindi rin given kung nasaan si point F in any view, no? So, proceed muna tayo sa next instruction. Okay? So, pero nasatisfy na natin to or at least nagamit na natin siya. Pero pwede natin balikan mamaya, no? The next is line AD is 6 centimeters long and pwede sigurong i-adjust ko itong ano, no? Gaano kahaba yung 6? This should be dagdagan ko ng uh, ganyan. This is 6 dito. Okay, so meron akong 6 if in case gagamitin ko yung 6 na yan, no? Oh, 6. Okay, so 6 centimeters long and sides BC and EF are parallel and all have the same length. So, meron ba tayong C, B, C? Can we connect B and C? Wala pa, no? Wala pang information. E and F, wala. We don't know where E is. We don't know where F is. So, for now, hindi ulit natin magagamit pa yung new information na to, no? Mukhang kailangan pa natin ng iba pang instructions. So, anytime na mukhang hindi nyo nagagamit yung instructions, most likely, ano, no? Kailangan nyo pa ng additional instruction pa para ma-solve yun. So let's proceed with another instruction. Sabi dito, line 1, 2 is parallel to plane A, B, C, D, E, F. And I think this is a one key in na na clue dito sa or hint dito sa problem na to. Sabi daw si 1, 2 is parallel to the plane A, B, C, D, E, F and it is in true length in RP1. Ay, hindi pala. Hindi pa pala to. Ito ata yung mas magagamit pala natin. Sorry. So, dito, plane A, B, C, D, E, F is in true size sa RP1. So, ito yung magagamit natin. No? So, ito mukhang line 1, 2 is parallel to A, B, C, D, F and is true length in RP1 which is already said. Para nasabi na to. Okay. Nasabi na pala dun. So, ito yung medyo mahirap sa ano, no? So, hindi na pala kailangan tong correction na to, guys, no? Kasi dito niya pala sinabi. So, ito yung medyo mahirap sa ano, no? Sa geometric constructions, lalo na pag nag-exam kasi parang all over the place yung yung mga instructions. So, posible na itong, kunwari, if you just read this line, without itong ano no nasa RP1 naka-true length din siya, then posible na hindi niyo mahanap tong point na to. You actually need this other information, no? Ito true length siya in RP1 para magamit para ma-predict niyo tong yung point na to or ma-find out niyo itong answer na to. Okay? So it always helps na no when you are doing geometric constructions, you always read the entire thing first. Tapos, kung merong mga nakakalito na parts, try to read the other instructions kung makakatulong siya sa sa entire problem, no? Okay? So, gawin natin, we have ito, hindi muna natin magagamit tong line 1, 2 is parallel to plane ABCD. So, pero ito definitely magagamit natin, no? Na ang sabi dito is plane A, B, C, D, E, F is true size in RP1. So, what does it mean kung true size siya sa isang view? If true size siya sa isang view, and this is, I can send you a set of mga general observations. Pero one of, I've prepared, sige, pwede ko ipakita ngayon, no? Parang ito, ginawa ko to sobrang tagal na. But maybe, and I think this can still help you guys, no? Saan ko ba nilagay yun? ES1. Hindi ko mahanap. Ah, Unfortunately, hindi ko mahanap siya ngayon, no? Pero i-upload ko na ng class. Pero I've created a sort of ano no, PDF file na meron siyang mga general observations doon na kunwari whenever if a line is kunwari point view in one view, then the next view will always be a true length para mga ganong observations. So I think that could definitely help you guys, no? So eto, ang isa doon sa mga observations natin is that kung ang isang plane is shown in its true size in one view, then the next view or the view before it will always be in its edge view. Okay? So never mangyayari na uh, true size siya dito. Tapos pag kinrate mo yung pagka nag-create ka ng reference plane, hindi siya magiging edge view. Always magiging edge view talaga siya. Okay? So, kung true size siya, any view before it should be an edge view, and that edge view should be parallel to that reference plane. So sabi kasi dito is um A B C D E A B C D E F is true size in RP1. Therefore, dito naka si A B C D E F dito naka edge view siya and parallel to this plane, parallel to this folding line here. Okay? So, how do we find? We just need one point, no? We need one point A, B, C, D, or F. And meron ba tayong available point na pwedeng gamitin? Pwedeng si point A? Hindi. Okay. Try muna natin i-project yung mga lines, no? So, let's project yung point C muna, no? So, if we project this one, project natin siya. Projectin natin si point O. Tapos, let's also projectin natin yung mga known points dito, no? Point O and point B. Ano natin? Tapos, anong new information na kaya nating ma-derive dito? Okay. Ang pwede natin ma-derive is si point O, no? Kasi we can actually find point O. Kasi ito yung projection line niya, si point O dito. Therefore, this is the location of my point O. Tama? So, since ito yung location ni point O,
Sir, di po ba point B yung...
sorry. Dapat pala ito pala dapat in-extend ko. Thank you. Extend ko pa, kulang pa to. So, extend ko pa to, pababa. So, this should be point O. And we know that point O is part of the plane ABCDEF, no? Paano natin nalaman yon? Kasi yung initial na instruction is that si point B, si BE and CF intersect at point O. Okay? So, if you have, kunwari, ito yung B natin, tapos may E tayo dyan, tapos ito yung C, so ito yung F, tapos nagko-connect sila, and we know that this is part of the same, this point O is the intersection point, and it is part of this line and part of this line. Tapos, there is a plane that contains A, B, C, D, E, F. So, that is saying na meron ka pang A dito, sorry, malamang nandito si A, no? A, B, C, D, E, F. So, meron kang plane na nagko-contain sa kanila, and this is actually a hexagon, no? So, if you have a plane that contains all of them, there is no way na itong point O is not belonging to the same plane, no? Given that it is part of BE and EF and CF. Tama? Parang impossible na this is a point floating outside of this plane ABCDF. And therefore, si point O is also a part of this plane. And if we view this plane in the edge view, dapat part si point O dun sa edge view na yun. Okay? So if part siya sa edge view, now we know the distance uh, between this folding line here and the edge view. So what we can do is, if we take a line parallel to the edge view, to the folding line, okay, narinig nyo na yung term na folding line? Kasi I'm not sure if yun yung term na ginamit sa ano sa dun sa video, no? Kasi there are many cases where there are many terms na pwedeng gamitin, no? I like to use the term folding line to describe uh the point the line that separates the reference planes, no? Pero I think some instructors or teachers or professors, they just call it as a reference plane lang din, no? So ang kaya ko siya tinatawag na folding line because and this is a sort of siguro basics ulit. If I take for example ito, if I have for example a kung ito yung object ko in space, no, kunwari lang a simple object, let's take a cube. Tapos I view it in one reference plane na kunwari nandito. I have a reference plane dito. Parang ganyan. If I take its projection, I can get a projection of this object. Tama? Then if I project it upwards to another reference plane na nandito sa taas, then this is another reference plane. So this is one reference plane. And this is, let's just say, reference plane 1 to. This is reference plane 2. And what we are actually doing is parang pino-project natin tong both reference plane in a ano no, in a 2D space. So parang ang nangyayari is eto siya, ito yung both reference planes na yon. And this reference planes is separated by this quote-unquote folding line. Tama? Kasi dito siya nagpo-fold eh. Parang ito yung folding line natin. Ito siya. So usually hindi na kasi natin dinodrawing nito, no? Kasi well described na yung reference plane natin. Kasi infinite naman tong reference plane na to. So mas appropriate na i-drawing natin siya na ganyan. And sinasabi natin na anything above this folding line represents the space, the reference plane 1 as a viewing plane. Tapos ito yung reference plane 2 as a viewing plane. Parang ganyan. Kaya folding line yung term na ginagamit ko. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, no? Pero some teachers like to use na reference plane lang din yung term nila kasi it also makes sense kasi parang sinasabi dito if this is your reference plane 2, then reference plane 1 is viewed as an edge view. Tama? Kung dito ka nakatingin, if this is your line of sight, yung mata nyo, line of sight nyo to, nakatingin kayo dito, then this view here, this line here, this reference plane, I mean, is seen as an edge view. So parang eto siya. So this is the edge view of reference plane 1 as viewed from reference plane 2. Similarly, kung nandito yung ano mo, yung line of sight mo, if you're looking from the top view, pag nakatingin ka dito, this reference plane here, eto siya, eto, will seem like an edge view as well. So that's why seen in reference plane 1, reference plane 2 is an edge view, which is represented by this line. Okay? So anyway you want to represent it, it means the same thing, no? Ako lang, I just find it a little bit easier if I imagine them as folding lines, no? Tapos yung reference planes are parang straighten out mo yung reference planes, no? So just imagine if I have kaya din mas madali tong ganitong way of imagining because if I have, for example, a third na reference plane, no? Kunwari RP3 to. And this RP3 is, kunwari dito ko siya i-fold. Then, parang if I represent it dito, ito-drawing ko lang yung folding line. So parang ang ginagawa ko is tinretake, parang kumbaga in-unfold ko siya dito, tapos parang kumbaga straighten out ko siya into a 2D plane. That's why nandito na yung RP3 ko. Parang ganyan. Okay? So para ako nag-unfold ng mga reference planes, no, to be viewed in a 2D space. Okay? So, I hope that made some sense, no? Okay, so again, gagawin natin is balik tayo sa solution natin. So we found out na nandito si point O, and point O is part of the plane. And dito sa view na to, the plane should be shown in its edge view, that is parallel to the folding line, ARP1 and ARP2. Kasi this is consequence of plane ABCDF being in its true size in RP1. Okay? So kung true size siya dito, dapat dito edge view siya parallel to the folding line. Okay, so if I do, and I'll just use a different color, no, para ano, and nagawa tayo ng parallel natin siya dito, passing through point O. This should be the location of uh, my different na points, no. So plane ABCD should be located here. Dito si plane ABCD. So the first point I can figure out is ito, no, point A daw lies along this line. Therefore ito point A na to. Okay? Now let's try to find the other lines, no. So A, I have point O, I can find point B. Ito siya. Tama kasi ito yung projection line ng point B. So this is point B. Point C is this one. So this is point C. Tapos do I have point D? Ito. I also have point D. Okay? So with that, pwede ko nang i-project pataas. Tama? If I take a perpendicular na, if I do perpendicular lines to this folding line and this, I don't know, plane here, then that is the location of my points D, B, and A is somewhere dito. So point D, pwede ko na mahanap si point D, no? Point D is using my compass. Again, 2 views away, so I can use this one. This is the distance. This distance is the distance for this reference plane, no? So this is point D. Therefore, I measure from this one, from this projection line. I should get dito. Tama? So this is point D in reference plane 1. Tapos gawin natin next. Nasaan tayo? Point B naman. This is point B. Measure natin yung distance ni point B, no? Okay. Tapos dito, point B. Dito si point B. Okay. Okay. So, pwede natin balikan yung ibang instructions, no? So, BC, I can draw BC. Ito. Let me use a different na color para hindi tayo malito, no? Ito si BC. Mm, this is BC and EF are parallel daw. Tapos, ang line AD is 6 centimeters long. So, I have point A. Kaya ko bang maano? Kung nandito si point A, AD, 6 centimeters long. Okay, so I have point D, no? Nandito na si point D. Then, if I draw a circle along that is ang tawag to 6 centimeters away from this point D, then I should be able to find location of point A by intersecting it with this locus, no? Kasi alam ko nandito si point A. Tama? So, I have 6 centimeters. Kunin natin yung 6 centimeters. And again, kaya ko pwedeng gamitin yung exact measurements dito kasi true size daw si ah, A, B, C, A, B, C, D, E, F dito, no? So again, class, remember na you can only use measurements if your line or your plane is shown in its true length or true size respectively. Okay? So hindi kayo pwede mag-measure ng distances not unless naka true size or true length sila. So dito, I can now measure. So that's 6. So from here, measure natin. So we can have two answers, no? Um, A could either be here or it could be here. Pero from intuition, since um this is a hexagon yung plane natin, dapat nandito siya, no? Or it makes more sense na nandito si A rather than dito. Kasi kung dito siya, parang um, the plane no longer makes sense. So, although it is equally possible din naman. Pero kung gusto nyo mas simple yung final answer nyo, I would suggest na you make it as a regular hexagon lang siya, no? Or a convex nga ba yung term? May term na where you have your planes do not contain uh, any angles greater than 180 degrees or any internal angles greater than 180 degrees. Okay? So, ito, for the purpose of simplicity, pipiliin ko tong point na to. Pero again, we can't discount this possibility, no? Kasi wala namang pumipigil sa atin para piliin to. Lalo na hindi sinabi sa problem na plane A, B, C, D, E, F is a regular polygon. Wala namang sinabing gano'n, no? So, equally pwedeng magamit to. Pero again, for our case lang, for simplicity, gagamitin lang natin yung point na to. Okay? I hope that makes sense, no? So, this is the location of point A. Tapos, mm, BC and EF are parallel to each other. We know BC. Do we have the location of EF? Wala pa, no? We do. Ito kasi si location ni E. Hindi pa kaya. Tapos, pwede ulit tayo mag-ano, no? Pwede natin ipa-intersect dito si EF. Kasi sabi sa ito, yung pinaka first instruction, no? Yung one of the first few instructions, BC and CF intersect at point O. So, pwede I can make a line passing through B and O. If I do this, yan. That is the location of, ano no. So, if you can imagine, parang ganito na yung shape natin. It always helps guys, no? Kung i-imagine nyo kung anong shape nung yung ano nyo, yung plane nyo. So, you can already imagine na para siyang ganun. A, B, C, D, E, F. Tapos, ito, it meets at O. Tapos, ito daw is parallel to this one. Okay? So, if we were to find either E, kung mahanap natin to si E or mahanap natin si F, then we can just make it a parallel line to BC para mahanap yung other point, no? So, from here, ito, location to ni F, tama? So, D, F. Do we have enough information para mag-conclude na ito si, sige, tingnan muna natin, no? So, let's just connect first itong si, itong si C and D. Now, kailangan ko na lang is yung either point E or point F, no? Okay. Basahin natin yung ilang instructions, no? Sabi daw, baka may nakalimutan tayong instruction dito. Line ADCM, BC, this is BC and EF are parallel and have the same length. Okay, so kung parallel sila and they have the same length, then this should be the location of point F, no? Tama. Does that make sense? Ito yung location ni point F. Pero pwede rin kasi dito. Okay, so try muna natin yung imagine class, no? I think this is the most likely location of F, pero gusto ko lang i-justify, no? Kung nandito si point F, measure. Okay. So, kasi nandito, if I were to create a parallel line, para itong line na to, and I want it to be the same length as this line right here, kasi dapat si BC tsaka si EF should be the same length. Dapat kasi same length sila. Pero at the same time, dapat nandito yung location nila itong sa extension ng line ng diagonal na to at extension ng line ng diagonal na to. So the only way that will work if I create a parang ano no, uh, a rhombus. Hindi rhombus. Is a if I create a parallelogram. Tama? So one property of the parallelogram is that yung if I create two diagonals dito, then that will define the uh, vertices of my parallelogram. So dapat dito siya. Kasi notice na if dito ko nilagay, kunwari lang if I think na point F is somewhere here, then if I connect a parallel line to this one, parang kunwari ganyan, yung length niya bitin na. Tapos kung dito naman, length niya bitin din. So the only length na sakto siya, na swak siya dito is if I create a parallelogram na pagganyan. Okay? So if I create point F to be here, then I create a parallel line. Ganyan. Then it should meet somewhere dito. And medyo off, no? Na i-adjust natin konti. Sabi ko na off lang konti yung measurements. Ayan. So it should meet at the same point dito, no? So nandito si point E naman. Okay, so if I connect that, connect this and this one, I should get my plane A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, and this is the true size, no? Always good practice sa class, no? Whenever you have a true size, label as true size. And dapat pala ni-label din natin to as true length, no? So true length, this is also true length. Okay? So if Tama. And just to be sure, no, double check na. Ah, dapat ito is the same length as this one, which is true, no? They are the same length. So BC and EF are the same length. Okay? So, we figured out the true size. Ngayon, ang gagawin naman natin is magka-create na tayo ng i-complete na lang natin tong A, B, C, D, E, F. No? And let's label this as a final answer. So, darken natin. Okay. So, eto. So, this is A. This is point B, C, D. Tapos ito is E. And we have point F dito. Okay? Okay. So, therefore ito, naka-point view pala si BF dito, no? So, nandito si F and P. So, pwede natin gawing F is closer, no? So, dapat F nandito. FB, tapos similarly, EC din to. This is EC. So, kung magpa-final answer tayo, we have, and we label this as an edge view, no? Edge view. Naka-edge view si ano natin. Okay? We have A. This is location point F, P, E, and C, and D. Okay? And para lang mas malinaw, class, no? I-lower ko lang opacity ng construction lines. Okay? Okay. So, nasa na tayo? Finalize tayo ng mga lines, no? Ito, project natin. Pwede natin i-project lahat ng mga points na to, no? So, if we do, ano bang kulang dito? Kulang pa tayo ng A, nandito ng BD, kulang tayo ng A, C, E, and F. Okay? So, gawa tayo ng mga projection lines. And zoom out ako konti para malaki yung ano, ma-create ko. So, A, B, this is also the location of F. Tapos, A, B, C nandito. Tapos D. Okay. Okay na that. Now, let's just copy the distances, no? So, first is A. Copy natin to. Transfer natin dito. Okay. This is the location of A. Next is the B, already given in B. F, which is along this line din, no? So, F is this distance apart. That is F. Ito siya. Okay. So, F should be here. This is F. Ano pa bang kulang natin? D, C. Where is C? C is this distance. So, EC. Pati E din pala. C is here. Tapos E is same line but different distance away, no? Ito siya. So, same projection line, which was this projection line. And this is ito, point E. Next is point D. Di, given ang point D. Meron ba? A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay na pala. So, we can mark our final answer, class. No? That's from this point A, B, C, D, E, F. Ganyan. Okay? So, just to be sure, sabi kanina na CF and BE should intersect at O. And just to check, no? Does it intersect? Nag-intersect naman siya. So, nag-intersect itong CF and BE at point O. So, we know we did a good job, no? And i-darken ko lang further, no? Itong final answer natin. Okay? So, A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, so let's describe the relationship between line 2 and 3, 4. Line 1, 2, and 3, 4. So, line 1, 2 is this one, and this is true length, no? Line 1, 2 is in true length. Tapos, 3, 4 is also in, no. 3, 4 is not in true length. Dito si, true length si 3, 4 dito, no? So, ito, class, if one line is shown in its point view, tapos true length yung isa, automatic perpendicular yung two lines na yon. Another way is, if one line is shown in its true length, tapos yung isang line appears to be perpendicular to that true length, then in space, they are indeed truly perpendicular. Okay? So yan, isa din yan sa mga relationships na nilagay ko doon sa yung PDF file na isa-send ko sa inyo. Okay? So, siguro just a concept, no, kung bakit nagme-make sense 'yon. So, think about, kunwari, meron kayong t-square, kunwari. May t-square kayo, no? Kunwari, ito yung t-square. So, if yung t-square natin, if may ganyan tayo na t-square, no? If it's shown in space, merong mga different orientations na kahit perpendicular tong angle na to, it can show na parang warped yung yung angle na ma-show dito. So hindi siya nagmumukhang lalo na pagka kunwari we show it as two lines lang, hindi siya mukhang perpendicular. Pero there is one view wherein kunwari finix natin as perpendicular tong yung yung long side ng t-square natin. So kahit if ni-rotate natin siya ng paganyan, so naka-perpendicular siya. So we're saying na true length to. Kahit na ni-rotate natin, so I'll just exaggerate, no? So kunwari parang ganyan. So naka-foreshorten kumbaga tong t-square na to. So this is closer to you than this one. So you'll notice na kahit foreshorten tong length na to, and I hope you can imagine what I'm drawing dito, class, no? Parang ganyan. This angle will always be perpendicular. No? As long as true length to. So if I draw it in terms of lines, parang ganyan siya. Kahit naka-foreshorten itong line na to, hindi ito yung true length ni ni itong short end ng t-square natin. Kahit hindi siya yung true length, as long as true length to, perpendicular parati yan. Similarly, kung kunwari, ginawa natin true length itong Itong top part na to ng T-square natin. Nakakita naman kayo ng T-square, no? Then kahit if I rotate it na kunwari, i-rotate ko ng ganyan. So, it will look shorter and exaggerate natin, no? Kunwari lang. Kunwari ganyan. Uh, sige, lagay ko ng konting 3D siya. So, ito, naka-true length to. Tapos ito, naka-foreshorten na siya. Magmumukha pa rin siyang perpendicular kahit hindi true length tong isa. As long as finix natin na true length yung isa. And if we draw ano no, if we draw this as lines, parang ganyan siya. So, true length niya is ganyan. Tapos kahit foreshortened yung isang line, ito true length, okay? True length yan, ito foreshortened siya na length, pero perpendicular pa rin sila yung relationship. Okay? So you only need one true length para ma-prove na perpendicular yung uh, isang line doon sa other line. Okay? Tapos yung isang point din is if kunwari inikot mo to enough, aabot ng point na naka-true length yung ano, and let's just say na ano no, true length yung isa tapos kunwari pinutol natin to tapos in-expose natin in its point view. Perpendicular pa rin sila. As long as true length to tas point view to. So that is like saying na kunwari pinutol ko yan tapos eto na siya. So ito yung view na yon tapos etong isa also shown in its ano no. So kumbaga din nasassemble ko tapos pinakita ko to in its quote unquote point view. Kasi ito parang naka-true length pa rin siya. Okay? So yun yung cases na magkakaroon tayo na parang different na true length. So okay, I think I hope that makes sense. So you only need again kailangan lang isa yung true length, no? So in this case, isa yung true length na to, tapos it appears perpendicular tong line na to kahit hindi true length yung line na to. This line is actually foreshortened line. So any line that is not in its true length is a foreshortened length, no? So ito true na foreshortened length to. It appears perpendicular to the true length 1 2, therefore line 1 2 is perpendicular to line 3 4. Okay? Questions? Okay ba tayo? So, sakto 3:50. I think we can have a 10-minute break, no? Tapos proceed tayo sa next problem natin, which is all about parallelism naman. So, during the break, if you have questions, just type it in uh, or i-mic in nyo na lang yung questions, no? Okay, so I'll see you in 10 minutes. Recording. Okay. Okay. So, balik tayo, no? So, first, ang ginawa natin is just a rundown, no? 'Di ba, una natin ginawa is from this line, this point 1, nag-project tayo ng line across going to ARP2. Tapos from this point, nag-project din tayo ng line going to ARP2. Perpendicular yan because those are projection lines. And where they meet is the point view of line 1 2. And this is in consequence because line 1 2 is true length daw dito sa ARP1, and because of this statement, tapos line 1 2 is also true length dito sa ARP3. Okay, so point view siya dyan. So we found the point view. Next is how did we find line 3 4? So ang ginawa natin is projected point 3 dito sa ARP2. Tapos we know that S is in between point 3 and point 4 because point S is on line 3 4 daw. Therefore, somewhere dito si point 3, and if we create a perpendicular line to the folding line of ARP3 and projected it uh, passing through point S and intersecting this projection line, we now get the projection or the location of point 3. So from point 3, we used the length. Since we know that this is true length dito, we use the uh, true length of 4 centimeters as given by the instruction to determine the location of point 4. So from there, nag-complete all views na lang tayo. No? So eto si 4, project it this way, project it that way. So kaya natin makuha siya. So dito, ito yung medyo tricky part, yung sa plane part. So ang pinaka-clue natin is we wanted to find the plane muna. So the plane was, the first step to getting the plane was to get the edge view of the plane. Tapos dito, ang only given information lang natin is was C and O dito sa view na to, and in the ARP3, ang only given was si D, B, and O. Okay, so the only point that is on the plane that we can project dito, and we of course need one point no para ma-project yung edge view, is point O. Kasi si point O is already here. If we do a projection line going this way, tapos this same point, gawa tayo na projection line going this way naman, then the intersection point will be the location of point O. And since we know that point O is part of the plane based on yung parang imagination na ginawa natin dito, then, pwede tayong gumawa ng parallel line parallel to this folding line and passing through point O. And that parallel line that we will create will be the edge view of the plane. And it works because given daw na true size dito si plane ABCD, EF, and if true size ang isang plane, then any view before or after it will always be an edge view that is parallel to the folding line. Okay? So nung nahanap na natin si ABCD, EF, nag-project na lang tayo ng mga points no that are necessary to create the plane dito. So one interesting na dito, dilemma is yung nahanap natin si A, B, C, and D pero medyo nahirapan tayo sa E and F. So the way we solve that is dahil daw si plane EF is parallel to BC. Okay? Pero at the same time, um, it should be of the same length. So, we tried different na combinations. So, kunwari, parallel sa dito or parallel sa dyan. Pero none of those will yield a length that is equal to this length. So, kailangan kasi na bukod sa point na parallel yung dalawang to, yung BC and EF, kailangan din same length sila. So, the way we did it is we employed the unique properties of parallelograms para ma-find tong 2 points na to. So, from this diagonal, pina-intersect natin siya dito sa parang side na to of one side of the parallelogram, and where it intersects, yun yung point F. We draw a parallel line from BC, tapos pina-intersect natin doon sa location ng next diagonal, which is this diagonal, no? And these two diagonals, itong CF and BE, are also parang naka-state din siya dito, no? Sa BE and CF intersect at point O. So this is the intersection point O. Okay, so when we did that, we have found the line that is parallel to BC and also it has equal length to BC. So yun na yung point E and point F. And since complete na yung planes natin, yung points ng planes dito, madali na lang siyang i-project to the different views, no? So we just copied distances, tapos project, tapos and we found ito na yung naging final answer natin. And mukhang nakopya ko pala yung ilang projection lines dito sa final answers, no? Na layer. Pero anyway, it should look like this, no? Minus the pink lines. Okay? So I hope that makes sense, and kung medyo nahirapan kayo, you can just review this video, no? Or pwede ring mag-send na lang ako ng no, yung answer key para dito.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So let's proceed with the next problem, which is this problem, no? So ito parallel lines and planes, and let's complete all views by satisfying the following conditions. And I think this is a much more simpler problem than the one before, no? Okay, so let's start with plane ABC is an isosceles triangle with base AC. So whenever merong mga ganitong relationships class, no, usually we work on them uh, doon sa area or doon sa view na naka true size siya. So for example, parang kung sinabi niyang, although isosceles can work in any view, no, kasi in any view dapat the proportions remain the same, so that therefore yung two sides should still eh, kumbaga mabibigay pa rin niya yung proportions appropriate to being isosceles. Pero what I mean by, for example, if you have something like, sabi 30, 60, 90 daw yung relationship ng isang triangle, isang plane or triangle, no? So 30, 60, 90 daw siya, kunwari ganyan. 90, 60, 30, kunwari ganyan siya, no? Tapos, pag sinabing 30, 60, 90 siya, then you'll have to find a view na naka-true size siya para ma-measure or matingnan nyo yung relationship na yun, yung 30, 60, 90. Kasi hindi nyo siya pwedeng gawin sa mga views na hindi siya naka-true size. Kasi for shortened yung ibang lengths yan eh. So, kunwari, if you find another view na kunwari nakaganyan siya, then posible hindi 30, 60, 90. Although this is supposed to be in space, dapat totoong 30, 60, 90 siya, pero at a particular view, hindi siya magmukhang 30, 60, 90. Okay? So whenever you have instructions na kunwari, it is a 30, 60, 90 plane, it is an isosceles plane, it is an equilateral plane, uh, always find a view na naka-true size siya. Okay? So in this case, sabi niya isosceles triangle daw siya with base AC. Therefore, let's try to find a view wherein etong si plane ABC is shown in its true size. No? So dito, ang first clue natin is B. Itong point B muna. No? So we can, the first na steps na gagawin natin is find point B muna, no? Kasi point B is easy to find because point B is here sa ARP1 but and it is also here sa ARP3. So if we did, for example, ang ginawa natin is we do a projection line from ARP1. Okay, gagawa ko projection line dyan. Tapos from ARP3, gagawa din ako projection line. Something like ganito, no? Okay. And this is the location of point B. Tama? This should be my point B. Okay, so I already have point B. Tapos, point A lies along this line, no? And point C, do I have point C? Wala akong any indicator kung nasaan si point C. Pero I know that point A is lying along this line. So, mamaya gagamitin natin yun, no? Tapos, ang sabi daw, AC is the base of the triangle, no? So, we need to find where C is. So, alam natin C is located in this. Nandito siya, somewhere along this line kasi point BC siya. Tapos, we also know that A is located along this line kasi this is the point view of line AB. And we know that point A is here. So, if we try to extend this line, let's extend this line, no? Okay. If we extend this line, we should find the location of point A. Okay? So if this is point A, tapos let's just imagine, no? Sabi daw, and again, it always helps when you draw this kinds of parang rough na draft lang, no, of what you are expecting. So, kunwari A, B, C. Ang sabi kasi is the base is AC. Therefore, ang two equal sides is AB and BC. Therefore, this should be one of those sides. Tama? So, kung equal siya dito, and this again, take note na true size siya dito, no? Dito we know na true size siya dito sa ARP2 because naka-true length kasi to and true length to. Tama? Does that make sense? True length siya kasi point view kasi si BC. Therefore, whatever a line na makikreate natin dito for BC is a true length. And similarly, dahil point view si AB, whatever line we create dito is a true length. Okay? Since true length siya, so kunwari true length to, this is also true length, imposible na hindi true length to. Tama? Kasi there is no way na parang ma-rotate mo tong yung plane na to such that hindi magto-true length to na true length pa rin tong dalawa. So pagka ni-rotate mo siya, kunwari i-maintain mo true length to, eto hindi na magiging true length. Kasi eto hindi rin true length. Or kung pinex mo to, eto naman yung rotate mo somewhere pa ganyan. Then eto naman hindi true length at eto hindi true length. So walang way na true length sila parehas tapos pipilitin mo na hindi true length to. All automatic magto-true length talaga to. So how do I know that? Medyo imagination na lang, no? Parang i-try nyo imagine yung plane in space and hindi din talaga posible, no? But syempre there are mathematical na ano, no? Or geometric, there is a geometric basis for it. Right now hindi ko alam yung exact geometric basis for it, pero I know from imagination na hindi posible 'yon. So kung true length to, therefore true length to. And kung true length yung all three sides, then therefore true size din tong ano na to. So kasi when we have a true size na view, all lines that are shown in the true size is also in the true length. So for example, if I make a point dito AA prime kunwari, tapos I connect that AA prime is a true length din. If I make a CC prime, to true length din yan. All lines in this, all infinite number of lines contained in this uh, plane ABC that is in its true size is a true length. Okay? Okay. So, since true size si ABC dito because of the two true lengths, then dapat I can measure this length tapos copy ko na lang along this length. Tama? So, if I take my compass, tapos measure ko equal to this distance right here. Then, where it intersects the other projection line, ito dapat yung location ni point C. Tama? Kasi isosceles triangle siya. And again, pag true size siya, pwede na natin i-make use yung mga ganitong relationships. Okay? So this should be AC. So nahanap na natin si ABC. We have found ABC and ito final answer na, no? So let's just darken it. Siya. So wait lang. Medyo nausi ako. Yan. So this is C, B, and A. And let's just label this as true size as well. No? Okay, so we have plane ABC. Tapos ngayon, hanapin naman natin si DEF. So ang only information na sinabi dito is that DEF is true size in ARP2. Tapos yung isang information pa is that the plane ABC and the plane DEF and the line 1, 2 are all parallel. Okay? So dapat if given naman pala si DEF, no? So itong si DEF, pwede ko lang siyang let me just no. Itong si DEF, pwede natin i-project lang siya, no? So if I connect this projection, sorry, tama. And let's do parallel projection lines ulit. So E should be somewhere dito and project ko na rin to si 2, no? And 2, I already know the distance of 2. Okay? Kasi ito, I can project 2. Pero kahit mamaya na lang siguro yun. Okay? Pwede ko palang i-complete pa tong views na to class, no? I already know how far A is. So pwedeng i-project ko si A dito. And then this should be my A, no? So if I connect this, this is point A and this is the edge view. Label na rin natin. This is the edge view of plane ABC. Similarly, pwede din nating kopyahin itong it's the same distance, no? Tama. Since true size to, actually pwede palang hindi na natin kinopya yung distances, no? Because we know that this is a true size, therefore, again, sabi natin kanina, if any view before and after your true size will always be an edge view that is parallel to the folding line. So actually, eto, if I projected line AC, kung pinoject ko tong si A, project natin si A ng ganyan, tapos gawa tayo ng parallel line, this is the location of C. Okay? Pwede natin siyang showing final answer na, no? Again, this is an edge view where this is plane ABC. Okay? So, try natin tong plane ABC, plane DEF, and 1, 2 are all parallel to each other. So, kung parallel sila, the way we prove parallelism is that if one line of this is for planes muna, no? So let's do plane for plane muna. Sa planes kasi, you need to prove that there are two lines contained in the plane that are parallel, truly parallel to each other, no? And we know that two lines are truly parallel to each other when your lines um, are parallel in all views. Okay? So if you have parallel lines kasi, in every view, they will always be parallel. Tapos kung naka-point view yung isa, automatic naka-point view na rin yung isang yung kabilang line, no. And dito, since naka-true size to, the way we do it is if true size yung isang plane, and we know that they are parallel to and another plane is parallel to that true size plane, then automatic true size na rin yung plane na yun. And you can imagine this in space, no? Try to hold up may two triangles kayo, tapos try nyo gawing parallel yung dalawa. Pagka view you in a i-rotate nyo yung planes na yun, tapos pag view you as a true size yung isang triangle, automatic magto-true size na rin yung kabilang triangle. Okay? Tapos, since again, sabi natin kanina na any view before and after a true size view will always be an edge view. Therefore, yung mga edge views din ng parallel planes will always be parallel as well, no? So, since parallel tong FAB ay yung ABC and DEF, therefore, if I were to create the edge view or if ABC is in its edge view dito, dapat ABC should be also in its edge view dito sa ARP1, no? So if I create a parallel line, let's create parallel line. Parang ganyan. So this is the location of point D, this is point D, and this is point E. Okay? So ito na yung location ito na yung final answer natin for FDE. So it's shown in its edge view. Okay? So pwede natin ganyan para mas malinaw. Okay? So dito sa side na to, it is also parallel to this no? So if I were to create, kunwari, gagawa ko ng no? Complete lang natin lahat ng views. So, project natin to. Sorry. Mali. Dapat parallel, perpendicular sa no? Reference plane. Okay, so project natin siya. Point E. To point D. and point F. Tapos we know that yung basis ng distances will always be 2 views apart, no? So ito ARP3, then therefore ARP1 yung basis ng distance dito. So if I take this one, tapos kunin ko yung distance ni I could take any line, no? Kasi parallel naman siya sa reference plane. Then I could just take one distance, no? Kunwari itong distance na to. Yan. Then ito yung location ni point E. And if I draw parallel line, yan yung location ni point D and point F. Okay? So, if I do this, final answer na to. This is point D, point F, and point E. And again, this is in the edge view, no? Okay? So, ano pa bang kailangan dito? We have A, B, C, and D. Tapos, yung isa is, let's label this as true size as well, no? Alam natin true size siya. Tapos, let's create 1, 2 that is also parallel to either ABC or DEF. So, yung easiest way to do this is to just create a point view, no? Kasi kung parallel yung isang line sa isang plane, tapos naka-edge view yung plane na yon, usually magiging perpendicular or magiging parallel na yung ano natin, yung line natin doon sa plane. Okay? So, if I were just to, and sabi dito, this is the point where one is located. And then therefore, ito, kung simplest answer lang, no, na ang gagawin ko, if I do the simplest answer, then this should be my point 1. Okay? Kasi, pagka yung plane natin nakaparallel siya, tapos truly parallel yung, or sorry, let me rephrase that. No? Kung yung line natin is truly parallel to a plane, tapos yung plane natin is shown in its edge view, then yung line natin, if it is also shown in its point view, then truly parallel yung dalawang yun. Or baliktad. If we have a line that is truly parallel to a plane and we show the line in its point view, automatic magpo-point view yung plane natin, no? Okay? So, we can have ito, ito yung simplest solution class, no? Gagawin ko na lang na si point 1 is along, I'll just do 1, 2 to. This is point view. Wait. And I'll show this solution I'll show 2 solutions, no? So, paano ko ba ipapakita? Ito lang. Okay, wait na nga lang. So, if I do this, this is point 1. Kasi si 1, 2 is in the point view dito sa view na to. Yan yung perhaps the simplest na solution class, no? Tapos, pwede nyo na i-project tong si 1, 2 dito. And if I do projection lines, let's do this. Project natin siya. This is location of 1, location of 2. Ang kailangan ko lang is distance na lang, no? Which is this distance. Okay. Then I should get, this is location of 1. This is the location of 2. And I could have ito. Point 1, point 2. That is perhaps the simplest solution no, that you can do. Parang ganyan. Pero, notice na kaya siya may area, no? Kunwari ito, area. This is point 1 is in ARP2 is located within this box. So, kaya siya ganyan kasi you can actually do multiple solutions. No? Kasi kunwari, uh, hindi naman necessary na naka-point view si point 1 dito. We could very well have done something like this, no? Pare, ang ginawa ko is if gusto kong parallel siya sa line, then I can just create a parallel line. Parallel siya sa plane, I mean. And I can create a parallel line to this edge view. So, pwede ako mag-create ng something like, pare, ganyan. Tapos nandito si 1. So, kung nandyan si 1, if I project it, ganyan. So, nandito si 1 ko. Tama? And this 2 will satisfy the condition, no? Ito is still parallel to, okay? So, ito, this line 1, 2 na to, and I'll just label this as 1 prime na lang siguro, no? Para hindi nakakalito. Itong 1 prime 2 na to, satisfies the conditions pa rin na it is parallel to line 1, 2 by this one. And in fact, hindi nga kailangan na nandito yung point 1. Although nakasabi pala dito na point 1 should be along this line. So, okay. So, kaya nga dito siya. So, itong 1 prime 2 na to is also parallel to, truly parallel to the two planes, no? Kasi yung line na to is parallel to this line. Tapos, kailangan lang i-show ko na parallel din siya ah, dito sa views na to, no? And mukhang enough na ata to. Kasi ito, true length kasi to. So, notice na if we take, the way we check parallelism for lines is, if one line contained in a plane is parallel to an external line, then that external line is parallel to that plane. Okay, so I'm talking about true parallelism. No? So again, if one line that is contained in a plane is truly parallel to a external line, then that external line is truly parallel to the plane. Okay, and the way we prove parallelism between lines is that dapat in all views they appear to be parallel. Okay, so dito naman, kunwari itong 1 prime 2 appears parallel to line FE. Tapos dito din, 1 prime 2 appears parallel to FE. Tapos dito ulit, line 1, 2 appears parallel to line FE. So therefore, if I were to write my proofs, no, 1 prime 2 is parallel to FE. Therefore, 1 prime 2 is parallel to DFE. Parang ganyan. So this is how we write our proofs, no? DEF pala, sorry. Parallel to EF. Therefore, 1 prime 2 is parallel to triangle DEF. And pwede din segment kanya, segment EF to signify segment to. Okay? So yun, medyo simple lang yung ano, no? There are multiple answers. You'll notice na pwede rin ilagay ko yung point 1 dito. That will still work, no? For this time, kailangan parallel siya sa, makakahanap pa rin tayo ng parallel line dyan, no? So, usually, sige, I'll just show you, no? So, kunwari, let's use, just to show you, no, another answer for this. If I do ganyan, pare dito, let's just take a random point, no? Yan, and nag-intersect siya dyan. So, eto, This is, let's say, 1 star to, no? So, si 1 star 2 is parallel to, um, your plane DEF, because if I find and ito yung mga, if you don't have any edge that is um that seems parallel to your 1 star prime, no, 1 star 2, then pwede tayo mag-create actually, no. So if I do this, para gumawa tayo ng ito, this is FF prime, and we project FF prime. Oops. Dito si FF prime, no. Then in all views, FF prime is parallel to your 1 star 2. Tama? Para dito, this is 1 star 2. 1 star 2 parallel to FF prime. 1 star 2 is parallel to FF prime. And also dito, 1 star 2, ito, 1 star 2 is parallel to uh, FF prime, which is nandito yung F prime, no? F prime. Okay? So that just proves, no, na whenever you have an edge view, sobrang mas madali talaga create ng parallel line to it. Kasi ang gagawin mo lang is just create a parallel line, and automatic yung parallel line na yun, because edge view na to, automatic in all views magiging parallel na yun siya. Imposible kasi na magkaroon ka ng edge view tapos meron kang line parallel to it, and or meron kang line that apparently looks parallel to it pero hindi siya truly parallel to it. It won't happen, no? If naka-edge view yung isang plane and there is a line that apparently looks parallel to it, then in all views it should look parallel to it, and it is truly parallel to it. And I think part yun sa mga ano, no, doon sa yung general observations na pwede ko maibigay sa inyo. And in fact, since meron tayong time, no, and eto na yung final answer natin, no. So it's relatively much easier than the first one na ginawa natin. While I'm looking for the files, meron ba kayong tanong? Okay ba tayo sa solution? Generally, mas madali siya, no? Tama?
Opo, sir.
Okay. So let me just find yung PDF file, no, para kasi feel ko makakatulong sa inyo yun, no? Ayan, ito. Hmm. So pwede ko i-provide sa inyo to, class, no? So ito yung mga some of the notes, tips, and observations na nag-gather ko from ES1. So kunwari, true length. If a reference plane is made parallel to a line, then the resulting view will reveal the line in its true length. Tapos meron tong mga ano, no, and I'll use terms like truly and apparently parallel, no, para distinguish yung difference between being just a relationship between one view lang and a true relationship in space. Okay? So kunwari ito, if two lines are truly parallel, true lines are truly parallel to each other if and only if they appear parallel in all views. Okay? Tapos if two lines appear parallel in consecutive views, but the reference plane is perpendicular to the lines of projection, then an additional view is needed for a new reference plane, and such that the new reference plane should be parallel to the first reference plane in order to prove or disprove their parallelism. Suppose if two lines are truly parallel to each other and one line appears in its true length, then the other line should also appear in its true length. If two lines are truly parallel to each other and one line appears in its point view, then the other line should also appear in its point view. Ito yung mga sinasabi ko kanina, no? So if a plane contains a line that is truly parallel to another line, then the plane is truly parallel to the other line. Tapos for two planes to be truly parallel, the two non-parallel lines contained in the first plane must be shown to be parallel to to two corresponding lines contained in the second plane. So ito yung usual way na pino-prove natin yung ano no, yung parallelism of two planes no. Hanap tayo ng two lines and maybe I can show you. So kunwari lang class, wala tayong kasi ito medyo madali tong problem nito kasi conveniently edge view na kasi yung may mga views tayo na naka-edge view na. So madali yung pag-prove na parallel si ano no. So let's just take this ano no, if we want to challenge ourselves no. Let's just take kunin natin 'to. Tapos challenge natin sarili natin no. Since we have excess time naman, may excess time pa naman tayo no. Okay? So the usual way to prove na a plane is parallel to another plane is, and let's just say hindi edge view si AB dito, no? I'll modify this a bit. Gagawin kong nandito si B. Okay? Yan, dyan si B. Therefore, si B dito should be, if I take my compass. So, try lang natin class, no? Para mas ma-imagine nyo siya. If I take my compass, to B should be somewhere here, no? B somewhere here. Extend natin to. Somewhere ganyan siguro. Okay? So, nandito si B. This is ABC. So, dito, let's try to prove na or create FED such that DEF is parallel to etong true length na to. And this is not anymore true size, no? So, hindi na natin sabihin na true size siya. So, kunwari ganito yung case, no? Tapos gusto mong mag-create ng line parallel to this one. So, ang kailangan natin is to prove that there are two lines contained in ABC that are parallel to FED. Okay? So, the way we usually do that is kuha lang tayo ng kunwari itong AB. Kunin natin si AB, tapos gawin natin siyang parallel doon sa ah, isang line sa FED. Okay? So, for example, if I take my compass, sorry, hindi pala kailangan. I-rotate lang natin to. Yan. Tapos gumawa ako ng line na ganito. Let's call this F prime. Then dapat itong si F prime should be, should also be parallel to AB in the next view. Okay, so if I draw this, so F prime should be located parallel to FB. Pwedeng ganyan. So, nandito siya. Then I have satisfied one condition, ano? And, well, di ba, wag muna natin i-drawing. So, dapat nandito si FF prime. F prime should be somewhere dyan. Tapos, we take another line. Kumari si AC naman. This is just arbitrary class, no? Pwede pumili kayo ng any line you want. And I do DD prime. Let's project natin si DD prime dito. Okay. Project natin. Oh, matalayo. Okay. DD. So, hindi ganun ka. Okay, medyo inaccurate. Pero sige, okay lang. Para ganyan. So, this is DD prime and DD prime is located between F and E. So, nandito dapat si DD prime. Okay? And DD prime should be, no, sorry. Kailangan natin to si DD prime. Itong si DD prime should be parallel to AC. AC is this one, no? So pwede na pala. Wait, sorry. Ito is FF prime. Convenient kasi itong ano natin. So, actually, pwede natin i-place lang na ganyan, no? So, DD prime is parallel to AC. Ito, this is DD prime, no? Parallel to AC siya. Tapos, F, this is your F dito. Tapos dito, F prime dapat to. So, FF prime is parallel to your AB. Therefore, parang ang proof dito is FF prime is parallel to AB. And DD prime is parallel to AC. Therefore, FDE or DEF is parallel to ABC. Okay, parang ganyan siya. So, yan yung usual way na pinoprove natin ang parallelism for two lines, no? For two planes. Kailangan maghanap tayo ng two lines that are non-parallel to each other. Tapos, that we have to show it that it is contained in one plane and it has an equivalent or a corresponding line, corresponding two lines that are contained in the other plane. Okay? Medyo pangit kasi yung example ko, no, kasi hindi ko masyadong mapakita. Pero if you did the modules, merong mga examples doon, no? Saan ba yung module natin? If you did the module for parallel lines, meron magandang mga examples doon, no? I think I can show one. This is parallel lines and planes. Let's try to show it. Ito. Okay. Tapos, gawin natin ano lang ako ng new example class, no? Kasi parang masyado kasing madali yung yung problem kanina. Masyado kasi madali yung problem kanina na baka hindi nyo masyadong nakita yung no, yung different na mga nuances when it comes to parallelism for two planes. So for example, ito, try natin i-prove whether the planes are parallel to each other. And usually the way we do this is kuha tayo ng a plane. We can work with either plane ABC or plane 1, 2, 3. And let's just work with ABC, no? So for example, if I get AC, itong AC na to, then I draw a parallel line dito. Oh, let's draw a parallel line. Let's name this 2, 2 prime. Tapos let's take another line and let's do AB. And again, I'm just taking the edge class, no? Kasi mas madali kasi siyang i-manipulate, no? So, kumbaga nagsa-save time ako. Pero I could have very well have taken any line. Kunwari, nag-take ako ng line dito and I name this XY. Pwede rin naman yon. Tapos, try kong hanapin kung meron siyang parallel line dito. Okay? It doesn't really matter. Pero, ang easiest way to go about it is just use the available edges, no? To prove parallelism. So, ito, si AB. AB is already parallel to 1, 3 actually, no? Tama? Kasi if I draw a line from here, tama, they are both parallel. So 1, 3 already parallel to AB dito. So, ang kailangan ko na lang i-prove is that for this to be truly parallel is dapat si 2, 2 prime should be parallel to AC. Tapos dapat si 1, 3 should be parallel to AB. Okay? So we have shown in one view that that's the case, no? So kailangan na lang natin i-show in the bottom view na true pa rin yung case na yun para true yung parallelism niya. So if I project 2 to prime here, which is in between 1 and 3, this is 2 to prime. Ito siya. 2 to prime. And we can see that 2 to prime is parallel to AC. Therefore, okay na to. Let's check this one. Tapos check natin si 1, 3. Oh, this is 1, 3. 1, 3 is also still parallel to AB. Therefore, triangle 1, 2, 3, I can say that triangle 1, 2, 3 is parallel to triangle ABC. Okay? So, kunwari, hindi pa rin kayo satisfied, no? Let's draw a random, just to prove it, no? Let's draw a random, ano lang, line, kunwari dito. If I take a random line, and very random tong line na to, no? Ang ginawa ko sa random line na to, inaralel ko siya dito. So, I've created 3 prime and this is XY. Dapat, etong 3 prime when projected downwards should still be parallel to this XY here. Okay? So, if I do this, 3 prime, it's along 1, 2. So, dito natin siya project 3 prime. Tapos, project natin yung Y which is in between AC. So, dito. And X is along BC which is dito. And again, you'll notice this one, oh, this line is parallel to this line. Para mas makita nyo. Tama? This line is parallel to this line. Okay? So that's how you prove parallelism. And so, pwede rin i-add nyo siya dito, no? Pare, 3, 3 prime is parallel to XY. Pero again, unnecessary na to kasi you only need two non-parallel lines to prove this, no? So ito, this alone proves this, but you can have multiple lines that can prove it, no? As long as two planes are truly parallel to each other, then you will always find two lines that are parallel. Two lines that can prove their parallelism. Okay? Pero make sure class na yung pipiliin yung line, again, dapat yung pipiliin yung line, etong kunwari ito and ito, non-parallel sila. Kasi if you were to choose, kunwari, ang pinili mo is AB. Kunwari, yung ginawa natin AB, tas ang gumawa ka ng second line that is parallel to AB. Kunwari, ang ginawa natin is gumawa tayo ng isang line dito and we call this as WZ. Kunwari, ganyan. This WZ here will provide the same information as your line AB. So, wala kang new information nun. So, hindi pwede yon. Hindi mo pwedeng gamitin as the second proof. Kailangang maghanap ka ng isa pang line na hindi parallel doon sa first line na pinili mo. So, and these two can satisfy them. Okay? So, yan. So, yun. Try to do the modules tapos baka may mga mas ano pa kayo, no, makitang mga several nuances, no. Okay, so balik lang tayo doon sa PDF file. I've listed several, no, kahit sa perpendicular lines and intersecting lines. Nilagay ko na rin yung general observations that will, if you put this to heart, medyo mas mapapadali yung buhay nyo, no. I can send this to you guys. So yun lang muna siguro. Okay ba tayo? Do you have any questions? Medyo muddy points na kailangan i-clarify. Meron ba?
Wala naman po.
Okay. Thank you for the feedback. So with that, I think we can end our session early today, no?